Did you know you can drive material UVs and other wacky things via custom data that you store on the component as a custom primitive data default, or right here on my static mesh, which is a plane, by the way, or in instance static meshes in the per instance static mesh data. So here's a bunch of ISMs or instances that within the actor, when I look at the instances, we have a single data value for each instance, 0 through 1. I put is how we're driving these numbers. Like that 100 there, I can just change it by changing this value down there for that instance. How you do it is, for what you're probably more familiar with, is static meshes. Let's fix this here. We have an undeclared value that's being set by our custom primitive. It's doing this because the material doesn't have a data for it. So let's go look at that material. Now we have to find the parent because you can only modify an instance at runtime. So this is an instance on these 4 static meshes. Here's the parent, and here's where we need that. So this is just an example. We're using the per actor custom data value. So let's look for scalar. I think it was, yes. So right down here, scalar parameter will show up. So parameter, scalar parameter. Now this, just param or whatever, is going to now be set. We have to select it, go to the left and say use custom primitive data, and give it an index that we're going to use, primitive data index 0. Now apply, save. The material stop picking random UVs, and the world stop picking random UVs too, and it's using the ones I gave it. And you can see here it now says param under customer primitive data. So now I can change these UVs as well. So why would you do this? Well, there's 2 materials in use now rather than 1 material per each one of these. So it's a way you can go onto the actor or the instance through the ISM and change one value and not have to have a whole bunch of different materials. One way this might be useful is to change the color of a mesh. So say you have a bunch of team colors, right? Red, green, blue, yellow. You can use this to change those colors without having to have a new material, and it will be that material will be caught in the same draw call. How you would do it for changing colors is that, well, let's go back into the material here. So let's look, this is the instance material. So we'll take the per instance custom data value, and that is what we saw in the ISM as that int per. So let's look at it real quick. On the ISM, underneath your instances, which is how you add more meshes to an ISM component, you have number of custom data floats. You need to set that to 1, and then you can add. Then you'll have 1 new float for each instance that can store a data value for it. And so you can go ahead and change each one that way. And you can drive, and then on static meshes, what you have on your component is down underneath rendering. You have custom primitive data defaults, and you'll want to go ahead, we just link that up by having the material have that scalar node in it. An index linked, which is 0, it will grab this value, and from there you go ahead and change values. So in either of those, here's our ISM. You could take off this node, which is going to be a 0 to 1, and make a switch. Have that switch, feed out, I think like this. Or not a switch, sorry, a select. Right, isn't there a select? Oh, I'm not gonna run through right now, but you can take this value and do some modifications to the material to change the color or do whatever you want to do to modify it so that you can have a red one, a blue one, a green one instead of the black or white or whatever your mask material is. And then it would just be one material being driven, just like instead of changing numbers, we're changing colors. So hopefully that helps you out. If you want any more answers about this, let me know. Cheers.